Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what is easier to do if you're a woman? Hiding sexual arousal. You've never had to belt tuck your clitoris. Not yet. Carry anything on your hip. Can confirm. Use hips to carry bags, children, pets. It's a wonderful addition. Edit, Whoosh. Thanks for the award. I use mine to support cases of beer when I'm at work. Edit, thanks for the award. Very true about the children. When my niece and nephew were born and I helped take care of them a lot, my mom and sister would always tell to rest them on my hips if my arms got tired of holding them. Like I don't have wide hips, it doesn't work for me. They just keep sliding down my flat sides, lol. Anytime I carry something heavy and place it on my hip, it's like a part of my instinct awakens. I now feel slightly less insane for having the same feeling. Like I heft a laundry basket up onto my hip and there's some immediate connection with my inner 60-year babushka ancestress carrying an 80-pound bag of horse feed. Yep, noticed myself carrying the giant bag of cat food on my hip as I left the store today. Of course, my hands were full of several bags and my purse, so multitasking yori. Since I am already a mom, I know the carrying child on hip feeling well. Getting their hand into a Pringle can. Fuck yeah. I do the tilt plus 2-finger grab to get my Pringles fix. Pour the Pringles into my mouth. I wanna have a daughter. So I can finally have someone around the house that can fit their hand inside a Pringle can. Yes, I'm still on the Pringle can thing, I'll move on. Small thing but telling what a lotion / deodorant / body wash / shampoo smells like by the label. Women's is just labeled like vanilla or lavender, but men's get dumbass names like Wolf, Hawk or Champion. Bear Fire, for men. It's manly and comes in a black bottle. Ladies, stay out. Feel the fire. Embrace the bear. Knowing for certain that the baby is yours. I've never understood why monarchies have generally become patrilineal. It's just logistically tricky to be sure which man fathered which child. Whereas it's generally easier to determine which child emerged out of which woman. The Chinese language even has throwback to some prehistoric matrilineal society. The word for surname is, which has a very clear female component on the left. This implies that at some point in early Chinese writing, people took their surname from their mothers. The paperwork was probably easier that way. I wonder if it was intentional. If the monarch's infertile, it's much easier to make a fake heir if necessary. Touch your friends. I think I used to nap with my friends. It makes me sad that men probably don't do this. When I was in high school, I had a lot of female friends and friend groups that were fairly relaxed and chill with casual touch. Cuddling and napping together and such. Was really nice. I moved for university and there I found it impossible to form a similar friend group. The men were much more frat-like and the women were on guard and treated any attempt to be friendly as hitting on them or attempting to get laid. I had multiple friends just up and ghost me one day because they decided they either weren't interested in me or they got into a different relationship. It was so fun, just sleeping in one bed with your girlfriends. And after you wake up, your friend says that you slapped her in the sleep. A couple of people have interpreted this as groping each other, but I feel like what I really notice in men is that they aren't as comfortable with intimacy. Sitting right up next to each other thigh to thigh on the couch under a blanket to watch a movie, resting a head on the other person's shoulder, gently moving an eyelash off of someone's face, holding hands are all practices I've experienced within my platonic relationships with women that I've never generally seen men be comfortable with. Like, yes, smacking each other's butts is whatever, but I think it's kind / gentle physical touch that is lacking. Here's a fun one. Women are generally better at conserving air while scuba diving. I teach scuba and 95% of the time my female students could stay down twice as long on their first dive than their male counterparts. It's a big pick-me-up for so many tiny women who think all the heavy gear is going to set them back from the big muscular guys. Update. So surprised to see this response. Glad you guys think it's as interesting as I do. Looks like some studies have been done on this. There's a Telegraph article behind a paywall that links to the studies, but for more casual reading, check this out, https://www.scubaexperts.com. In my opinion, I think the major piece of the equation does have to do with oxygen use being more efficient in women due to sheer muscle mass, but I do see there is a psychological aspect to it too. I see a majority of men take heaving breaths rather than normal relaxed breaths. Because of this, sometimes these guys too be overweighted to counteract the positive lift created by their lungs. This means they're dragging around more weight and thus exerting more energy. Along with that, I tend to see a lot of women relax in the water a lot faster than men do, so they become accustomed to what breathing regularly underwater is like. For those of you who have asked how to become more conservative divers, here are a few tips. 1. Practice buoyancy. The closer to neutral buoyancy you get, the less drag you'll have. As you get accustomed, you'll find you can shed lead from your gear, which continues to make you more efficient. 2. Spend some time focusing on your breath. For the first few months of diving, my primary concern was my breath and making sure to always keep breathing. You have to counteract the desire to take deep gulps of air and instead try to find a rate at which you are relaxed. Skip breathing isn't the goal either. That will just make you want to suck down more air later as you get exerted by hold your breath. As you get used to this rate, you can play with changing your breaths to change your buoyancy. 3. Relax. Taking it slow and using efficient movements is going to allow you to conserve air throughout your whole dive. As a bonus, if you take things slowly, you are more aware of your surroundings and tend to see more life. Can confirm. My dad was a paid instructor for over 20 years and this was a thing. He himself was able to conserve air with much training and experience almost to the same degree as a woman. It also helped he was a small person at 5'1". Haha, your dad scuba D like a girl. When I took hazmat with the US Army, we used SCBA Firehawk masks for training in full hazmat suits. I was the only woman going through training. We were told one per group would be going through the full deco process. The one going through would be the one who used the most air. They didn't even bother to check my tank gauge because the instructors knew I wouldn't be using anywhere near as much air as the guys would. Did firefighter training with a few women. One in particular stretched a 30 minimum bottle nearly an hour when we did a breathe down. Wear another gender's clothing. Deleted. Have you seen overalls before? I once got a bunch of mislabeled lab coats. Somehow the service switched mine out. I was thoroughly confused as to why I felt like I was a 5-year-old trying to figure out how to tie his shoes. I literally could not work the buttons. And that's how I found out women's buttons are on the opposite side of men's. It's bizarre and makes no sense. It trips you up more than you think it would. Physical contact. If I feel like it, if I need a hug, I can just cuddle with my girls' friends. I don't think it's that easy for guys. Straight facts, last time I had a hug was a few years ago. Damn, now that I think about it, I haven't had a hug in a few years too. Work with children. As someone who works in early childhood education, I've had the cops called on me 3 times when I took my kiddos to the park. Thankfully I know the beat cop quite well, so it has never caused me any real issues, but the fact that people see adult man interacting with children and assume I'm a violent predator honestly hurts a lot. My team is all big, burly, heavily tattooed men, but we are all insanely qualified to do our jobs, but that all means nothing to some random Karen who sees scary looking me give piggyback rides or do a girl's braids. I had a bad childhood and just want to care of the little ones, kindly fuck off. Edit. I really didn't expect this post to get the response it did, so I feel like I should add some more information. I'd say about 95% of the families I work with are thrilled to have a man working with their kids, or just don't really care. So many children grow up without positive male role models in their life and are incredibly grateful for the work we do. Men, don't be discouraged thinking you can't work with kids. Most people are going to be quite supportive. Boys need men to show them how to be men, step up and help our little guys. With the right certifications and degrees, it can also be a pretty decent paying job with insane job security. To the Europeans saying found the American, this happened in a European country. Stop acting like gender role related issues are an exclusively American problem. It only makes it harder to address these issues. What do the kids think of us? By and large we are their favorite teachers, and since they don't have a concept of why men like us are seen as intimidating, they just see us with a more objective view. They really like my tattoos, and sometimes draw on themselves or put on fake tattoos to look like us. One of my girls was furious with me one day and drew all over arms and face to look like my tattoos and beard and went around like Hajio, I'm Caucasian delegation, get off the table and get in line. Never have I been so utterly wrecked. I was nearly in tears laughing. I remember in college people thinking I was a pedo just because I volunteered teaching art at an inner city pre-K over winter break. Haven't really felt comfortable interacting with kids ever since. When I was a kid I wanted to do babysitting classes and was ridiculed by teachers, and that kinda hurt too. I have a kid of my own now, but it was literally just a life goal from that point so I could interact with kids and not be ridiculed. But now I get comments like, you never see men interact with kids as much as you do, man, fuck off. This is all I want. I don't want to be condescended every time I play with my kid. I got the cops called on me in high school cause I went to the mall with a female friend who was significantly shorter than me. They thought I had kidnapped a little kid. The woman who followed us till the police showed up was shocked when she found out the girl was older than I was. This sorta reminds me of the big biker dudes with their tiny dogs, and it's adorable. Edit, what the fuck TYSM for the gold.